All right, we're back, and we are here with Tyler Matzek. Tyler, take it
Hey
away.
guys, thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, so I just want to introduce myself. My name is Tyler Matzek, relief pitcher for the Braves. Grew up in Southern California, got drafted by the Rockies in 2009. Ended up making my debut with them in 2014. Uh, 2015 had a bout with the Yips and had that from 2015 till about 2018, 19. Kind of just kept battling through indie ball to get back. Uh, Got picked up by the Braves in 2019 and made it back to the big leagues in 2020. And here I am in spring 2021, getting ready for the season and looking forward to having a good year and just want to get out there and win a ring with the boys.
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited for the 2021 season. I know you are as well. So what's it like in spring training right now? I know like they're having a game right now, but is it like half the roster is back at home or like in camp somewhere in a hotel room, or is it?
Yeah, so a lot of guys stay in hotel rooms. A lot of guys get places down here. People who have families usually get houses. With the COVID rules, they're kind of trying to separate us. So usually you'd stay for 2, 3, 4, 5 innings, just depending whatever you want to stay for. But with COVID, they're really telling us, hey, go home. We want as few number of guys around. So if something does happen, we know we're not losing the whole roster. So you get in, you kind of go with your group, your 10, 15, 20 guys, get in, do your work, and get out of there as soon as possible, which is a little bit different for spring training. A lot of guys like to get in there early and kind of leave late just because, you're trying to get their body ready. You got 162. But yeah, we've been just very efficient in the timing that we've had on the field.
So they like schedule you guys based on like, do you know when you're gonna pitch every week? Like obviously you pitched twice already, in I think it's 5-6 games we played. So do they like schedule that out so you know when you're gonna pitch so you're prepared?
Yeah, for the most part, they have an idea. For me, they've told me when I'm pitching. Some guys will go in, they'll be what we call backups. So they'll either pitch that day, and if they don't pitch that day, they'll most likely pitch the next day. It kind of just depends on how the game goes. But there's certain guys that like have to get innings on certain days, especially the starters. I mean, spring training is really for the starters and the position players. Us bullpen guys, we can get on the mound 2, 3 times and we're ready to go. But the starters have got to build up. Position players have got to get used to seeing the ball come out of somebody's hand. Relief pitchers, man, we're 1 inning and we're good to go.
That's actually interesting. I've never heard of that before, but like you said, only 4 games. That's new information to me. So that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Honestly, as relief guys, it's you don't need that much. You don't have to build up. Your arm's already pretty much in shape by like your 3rd or 4th outing. So.
All right, so we'll just jump right into some questions here. The first several are from us, and then we have some listener questions. So I think I got odds and he's got even. So the first question that we have.
It's the other way around.
Oh, that's right. It is the other way around.
It's the other way around.
We literally just discussed this, but I already forgot. So
you want me to start it off then?
Go ahead with number 1.
All right. What was it like to pitch in the 2020 season with no fans? Was it weird feeling or was it more calming?
I don't know that it was more calming, but it was also weird. I think it was both. Yeah, it was definitely just weird. I don't know that it was calming. It wasn't calming. You're going into high leverage situations, high stress situations as a reliever. So the adrenaline's still flowing, whether you got people in the seats or not. I think that the fans affected the hitters a little bit more, not having energy that they've got to, that they can pull from. They're going to play a 4-hour plus game or, 3.5, 4-hour game. I go in and I'm playing for 15, 20 minutes most. So I got all my adrenaline. It comes all out in that 1 inning and then I'm done for the night. So it was different in the fact that when you're sitting there watching the game, it doesn't have the same energy. But once you're in the game, it's the same.
All right, number 2. This question is one of mine, but it's also very similar to a viewer question. This one is from, I guess, both me and Aiden. You were chosen out of the wrong question. You were out of Major League Baseball from 2015 until 2020. How did you motivate yourself to keep going? Did that take a toll on you, bouncing back and forth between teams?
Yeah, so played a lot of indie ball. I mean, not a lot, but about 2 seasons worth of indie ball. Getting released by about 4 teams. It was definitely tough on the mental side. Thinking, all right, baseball's done. Fortunately, I had my wife who sat down with me and so said, I think you have more to offer the game. I think you should keep going for it. This was back in 2017. And from that moment on, I was like, all right, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Let's just do it. And if it works out, great. If not, it doesn't. I want to look back when I'm, 60 years old, 70 years old and go like, man, I'll let that opportunity slip away. And so I just kind of just looked myself in the mirror and just said like, man, you got to give it everything you got and don't be disappointed. If you fail, you fail. You can look yourself in the mirror and be like, all right, I'm happy with, at least going out there and giving 100%. But I just didn't want to look back on my life and go, I let that opportunity slip because I was afraid to fail, or I just was scared to take that jump, or I was scared to just keep going out there and kind of embarrassing myself. I didn't want my ego to get in the way of being able to look myself in the eyes when I was older.
Awesome.
So number 3 is a bit of a 2-part question. So I'll ask you the first one and then move into the second one. So what was your favorite memory of being in Colorado?
Favorite memory would probably be, on a personal level, it'd probably be the game I pitched against San Diego in like a September of 14. I pitched a 3-hit shutout against them. I just remember being on the mound and I was just so excited, so happy. But the weird thing about me back then, man, I was always so stressed out and worried about everything that the minute that game was over, I was already stressing and worrying about the next game, instead of just sitting there and enjoying the game I'd just done. I learned from that, and looking back on it, I can appreciate it more. I wish at the time I appreciated it more in the moment.
Right. And the second part of this question, how difficult is it to pitch at Coors Field? Obviously, the high elevation guys hitting bombs left and right. How was it? Is it difficult? Do you notice any difference from Coors Field to any other particular field?
I don't think it's so much that the guys are hitting home runs at a crazier rate. There's not many more home runs. The fences moved back to kind of, make up for that, to compensate for the elevation. Mm-hmm. So what that forces the outfielders to do is they have to move back 5 steps. And when they move back 5 steps, that ball that lands in front of them that they could have caught or almost caught is an out at every other ballpark. So you get a lot more singles and you get a lot more runs and RBIs off of bloopers that shouldn't happen.
Right. That's
where the runs really come from. There's a handful of times, if that, where it was like, oh, that shouldn't have been a home run, like almost never. But there are a ton of times where it was like, gosh, man, that ball landed right at the outfielder's feet. I know if we were at any ballpark, he's playing 5 feet further in, and that's an out all day. And
yeah.
I think that everybody gets caught up in the ball going so far, but really it's the weakly hit balls that fall in, or the real ERA killers, the real, pain in the butt kind of hits.
Awesome. So our fourth question, this one's kind of a fun one, but you were one of 24 players in the 2009 draft selected before Mike Trout. Do you ever use that to brag to people, or like you're pretty exclusive there?
Yeah, I'll never say that to anybody. I think the draft, when you're in the top, I don't know, 5 rounds or so, it's kind of just a crapshoot. You just kind of just whoever is good enough to be in those 5 rounds. You could be a 5th rounder, you could be a 1st rounder, and you're probably good enough to go in either spot. It's kind of just, it goes down to what people see in the future. They don't always get it right. Mike Trout, when I was playing against him, because I played against him in tournaments and stuff like that, he was an okay player, like okay tools, a little fast, kind of a little chunky, like it wasn't anything special. And then 3 years later, the dude's a man and he's hitting balls, out of baseball fields. And it was unbelievable to see. So, guys, I was drafted before Arenado, even with Colorado, he was in the second round then, you know what I mean? So you got guys that are, if you're in the top 5 rounds, you could be a first rounder, you could be a third, fourth. It doesn't really matter, all besides the money.
So was that a surprise when you were drafted in the first round to you?
No, I mean, I was getting told I was going to be drafted early on in the first round. Was it an exciting moment? Absolutely. Like people can say all they want until it actually happens. It's just people talking. But when it actually happened, I was just like, wow, like this is actually it, man. I'm going to play baseball for the rest of my life. I can't wait. And, I can't wait to start my career kind of thing. And then the Rockies called me the day of the draft, said, we want to sign you for less than slot. And I was like, well, that's kind of dumb. I don't want to do that. Then they didn't call me again until 30 minutes before the deadline. So, yeah, I didn't think I was actually going to go play pro ball. I thought I was going to go to college.
So that actually is kind of similar to a question that Luke's going to ask you a little later on, but we can talk about it now.
Do you want to talk about it now? I guess
if you want to.
If we're bringing it up. So this was a question I made personally. Obviously, I've played baseball my entire life as well. But what was the recruiting process like throughout high school? Obviously, you were committed to Oregon. You knew you were going to probably get drafted. What is that experience like, going to like camps or like showcases, stuff like that?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to be on the radar. I wouldn't say early, but on the radar early enough, my junior year of high school. And my junior year of high school and part of my senior year, mostly just my junior year, I was actually a couple things. One, the whole summer from my junior year to my senior year, I was at home for a total of 14 days. So of the 3 months or whatever it is of summer, from July, August, September, I was home for less than 2 weeks, and it wasn't 2 weeks straight. It was like 3 or 4 days at home. And then I would go to another showcase, 3 or 4 days at home, go to another showcase, kind of bouncing all over the country. So it was almost like a job then, not really a job, but I was out doing a bunch of showcases. And then, you're getting to know these guys. That's where I get to know like Trout and some other guys like that. Like you see them all at the same spot. They're all doing the exact same thing.
Right.
The recruiting process was very interesting. I had countless number of coaches come into my house. I'd get done with school on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'd have 2 or 3 meetings lined up with, college coaches from around the country. They'd come into town, they'd sit down, we'd have a chat in my living room at my house, and then they'd leave. 20 minutes later, the next guy would come in, and they leave next. So it's kind of exhausting because then you're done with that. You just want to go be a kid and go have fun and do whatever you wanted to do, but instead you're having sit down meetings with college coaches, and by the time you get to your X number, you're just burnt out and you're just like, dude, I don't care. Like I've already done like 50 of these things. Like, do I have to keep doing it? And then you got the major league teams that are all doing that, and sometimes you're having multiple meetings with those major league teams, so it's a lot. But I was fortunate to actually be in that position. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I just wish they would streamline it and you could get like 10 colleges in the same room and ask you like the same questions instead of over and over and over to the same, to different guys.
Yeah. So obviously you were drafted as a starting pitcher by the Rockies. Your first 24 of 25 appearances were starts, but last year you were solely a reliever. What was that transition like, and what did you do? Like adjustments did you make to like compensate?
Yeah, so my whole career, like you said, was as a starter, and I enjoyed it. But I think I'm much better out of the pen. I think my body's just built for it. I love throwing every single day. I can throw every single day. I like that short, explosive workload instead of that longer, 5, 6, 7 inning workload. So some of the things I didn't like to change many like things of like off-season training or anything like that, because I was training that way anyway, whether I like knew it or not. I was training those short energy systems where they're explosive. But mentally it freed me up more than anything mentally to just attack the zone, attack, go and try and strike out every single player that came up to the plate. Like that's what I'm trying to do as a reliever. And as a starter, I'm sitting there going, okay, I got to get this guy out 4 pitches or less, so that way I can go 5 or 6 innings, 7 innings into the game. And there's just a lot more thought process to it, and I don't think I work well like that, man. When I'm not like, being aggressive 100%, I tend to drift off and just not be my best. So being a reliever allows me just to go out there, focus on striking that guy out, and that's my sole focus out there. If he hits the ball and I'm making an aggressive pitch where I'm trying to strike him out, most often he's going to be weak contact.
So going off of that last question, do you ever like picture yourself as a starting pitcher ever again, or are you content with being a reliever, or are you content with your role as a reliever right now?
Yeah, I really enjoy being a reliever. If the team came to me and said, hey, we need you to start, I mean, yeah, sure, I'll do whatever it takes for the team. I have some experience where some other guys maybe not. I don't think that's the situation with the Braves. I think we have plenty of starting pitchers, but I'll do whatever it takes to go out there and win. I would try and bring that same mindset of I'm going to go and strike all these guys out and just see where the chips lie at the end of the game. It might shorten my inning as a starter, but yeah, man, I really enjoy the competition side of being a reliever where I can just come out and be aggressive. It's mano y mano. Let's get after it.
So it kind of brings to mind like last year in 2020, after we lost Soroka, our rotation was, I mean, we basically had a four-man rotation. That 5th spot was like up in the air for the majority of the year. We had Freed, Anderson, Kyle Wright, and Bryce Wilson, those guys. Did that conversation ever come up?
We had Malone, we had Erlin for a little while.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
But their stints weren't too long. Obviously, Hamels only had 1 start. Did that conversation ever come up? Did Snicker ever ask you if you were able to start, or would you have wanted to?
I mean, if they would have come up to me and said, would you be willing to do it? I'd go ahead and say, yeah, I'll do whatever it takes. I'm glad that they didn't, because I think it, worked out in my favor. I think that I was valuable to the team being able to pitch anywhere from the 2nd inning to the 9th inning. Just the way my stuff played, I could go out there, and if I needed 3 innings, I could go out there and get 3 innings. I've done that in the past, and I know how to do that. And if they needed me to come in and shut down the 8th or 9th or whatever, or come into a pressure situation, I knew how to do that as well. So I think that they liked the versatility that I had in being able to adapt to whatever role they needed in that day. And I think that's why, we still have a ton of young starters that are able to go out there and do their thing. I mean, you already named a handful of them: Kyle, Wilson, you got Tucker who can go out there and do it. Tukey who can go out there and do it. These guys are still young, in terms of years of pitching. And when they get out there, every time they get out there, they're getting experience. And last year was a great year for them to come out and get that experience and have a bigger bullpen behind them who, could take a little bit of that pressure off where, hey, you go 3 innings or 4 innings, we got an extra 2 or 3 guys down there, long relief guys that can pick up 1, 2, 3 innings and have no problem. So it was a great opportunity for those guys to get some experience. And I think they, for the most part, did a very good job.
I agree. And like, I am kind of glad that they did get a lot of playing time, but obviously like you in a relief role, you were one of our best relievers last year, if not the best. And I mean, it was a joy to watch you pitch, and we can't wait.
It was a ton of fun
to see it this next season. So, for sure, we're so glad to have you. Like we found a hidden gem in you, of course. But
yeah, I know. I tell people that whoever sent the scout out to come see me out in the middle of nowhere in indie ball, like, deserves a raise. Like,
yeah,
because I had teams, I was calling teams, and they were just like, no, we don't want to send anybody out. We don't want to send anybody out. This guy's got the yips. He can't throw strikes. Da, da, da. I'm just like, bro, just somebody please come see me. I'm telling you, I fixed all that stuff. And whoever, the Braves, whoever made that decision to send somebody out, I'm forever grateful to them. And I think that I think they made a good decision.
And I agree. Arguably, you could have won NL Comeback Player of the Year, but of course, Daniel Bard was. I mean, he was out of baseball even longer, or out of Major League Baseball at least even longer. But without him, I think you're probably number 2 I mean,
Yeah.
possibly number one. You're number one in our hearts, of course. 'Cause
Oh,
that's our
it means
Braves
a lot.
fans. But anyways, what's the next question? I think it's yours, Luke.
Yes, it is mine. So what was the feeling coming in game 2 of the NLCS after all the adversity you had, I guess leading up prior to that, obviously not being in the league since 2015?
So coming into the first NLCS game,
Yeah.
and it was surreal. It was the first time I'd pitched in front of fans in quite a while. We get some fans and stuff in indie ball, some in AAA, but having not seen fans for like a year plus was kind of weird. And so getting out there, having that atmosphere, felt a little more energy. I mean, obviously it's an NLCS game. You got the whole world basically watching. We're playing the Dodgers, which is a huge following. And driving on the way to the field, you could, if I looked off to the left, I forget the highway, but you drove right by my old indie ball stadium. And I'm sitting there thinking like, man, a little over a year ago, I was playing over there, and now I get to drive to this brand new stadium that they just built for us to basically play this game in. And man, I was just so fortunate to be there, and I just wanted to embrace the moment and be aggressive in the moment, and just went out there and let it all hang out, man. Just went after it.
Yeah.
So we did face the Dodgers, and we know you are from California. So growing up, who's your favorite baseball team growing up, and who'd you support?
I'd probably be the Angels. Early 2000 Angels team was probably my favorite team. Just had a bunch of studs on that team. You had Eckstein, you had Erstad, you had you had Mo Vaughn there, but he was like the 90s. I mean, that guy was awesome. You got a bunch of Troy Gloss. Yeah. Tim Salmon, you had Vladdy there for a little while. Like, you had some good stud players. I loved going to those games. Probably went to more Dodger games growing up. I had a youth coach that loved the Dodgers, so we'd load up the team van and just drive up to the Dodgers game, go pay $1 and go sit in the stands in the bleachers, get a hot dog, watch the game, and then drive back. We did that almost, at least once or twice a week, every single week in the summer. So I saw a decent number of Dodgers games. They weren't as good, but it was just the experience of going out and watching a game. We get there early for home run derby. But those are the two teams that I really, really enjoyed watching.
Luke's got the next question.
I do have next question. So who is the funniest guy on the team to you personally?
I'm going to go with I talk to the pitchers more and the bullpen guys the most. And I'm probably going to go with Luke Jackson. That guy is always looking to have a good time and crack a joke here or there. He's a ball of energy, man. You can't get the guy to stop talking. What's great is whether he's doing good or he's doing bad, he's the same guy, which in a game that's as hard as the sport we play, is a very tough thing to do. He's not, you get some guys that will struggle and they'll be sour and you don't want to be around them. Luke's not that way. Rain or shine, that dude is bringing up the energy of the whole entire team. Whether we're winning every game or we're losing every game, he's bringing up that energy of the bullpen. He's bringing up that energy of the team as a whole. And, it's great, honestly. Like, it's some days you don't want to be there. Sometimes you got a day game after a night game. But Luke's energy he's bringing to the bullpen is a big reason why all those guys were able to, be successful last year.
Yeah, that team had a lot of chemistry, and you could definitely tell. Obviously, everyone's looking at like the guys like Acuna and Ozzy, and Marcell Ozuna was a big ball of energy in the dugout. But a lot of people didn't really realize that the bullpen guys were having a great time as well. I mean, everyone on the team just seemed to be having a blast. And honestly, even just watching it on TV, even without fans, it was so much fun to watch, which is crazy. But so you said Luke Jackson was the funniest guy, and if from a fan's perspective, he did have his fair share of struggles last year. He had an ERA of over 6, I believe, but you said he never let that bother him, and he was always positive about that. So what's it like for you when you have a rough outing? If you maybe give up a homer or something, do you tend to bounce back quickly from that kind of stuff, or is it like you don't let it get to your head?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first part about that was about Luke. And I think Luke's going to have a great year this year. I think he's cleaned up a couple things with mechanics that's going to allow him to be a little bit better this year, be more consistent this year. Because I know that he can bounce back and be that 2019 Luke that we saw that's throwing the ball hard and, who he's supposed to be. He had one bad year. I think he's going to have a great bounce back year this year. For me personally, when I have a bad outing, I like to give myself actually time to think about it, instead of trying to forget about it right away and then it just looming in the back of your head, in the back of your mind. I give myself 2, 3, 4 hours where I sit there and think about it. And if I want to be sad, sure. If I want to be mad, sure. Allow that to happen. And then the next step I want to take is I want to say, okay, what am I learning from this? What did I do wrong that I shouldn't do the next time? And if it's like, hey, you got predictable with your pitch, or you missed location, yeah, it's baseball. You get predictable, that's something you can control. If it's something I can change, I want to learn from it and not do it the next time. And that allows me to, once I've thought about it, learn from it, now I can turn that negative into a positive. So every time I fail, I'm actually getting better. Like, oh, okay, well, I failed there. What did I learn? Okay, that makes me better for tomorrow. Not, I failed, I'm bad, I'm not being able to pitch. It's, oh, I learned my lesson. I'm better today than I was yesterday after giving up that home run or after giving up that run, whatever it is. So it's a positive way to look at a negative situation.
Awesome,
you kind of have to,
awesome.
as a reliever, you have to have that short mindset, you're going to be pitching the next day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So next question. What are your goals for the 2021 season? Is it like improve, maybe sign an extension? I mean, it could be literally be anything. So let's hear it.
Yeah. I want to just continue off the success I had last year. I don't really put numbers on stuff. The numbers are going to take care of themselves. I can go out there and win every single day or a majority of the days. The numbers are going to take care of themselves. So I don't worry about that. Signing extensions or long-term deals, that's not up to me, man. That's up to the front office and all those guys. I mean, obviously I'd love to be a Brave for as long as possible. I love it here. It's a great organization and just great people all around, from rookie ball coaches and players all the way up to the big leagues and then all the way through the front office. Haven't met a bad person. So, yeah, man, I just want to go out there and have a great year. And I honestly think we have a chance of winning the World Series. We stay healthy. We got a very good chance. So that's what I want to do, man. That's the number one goal for me.
Awesome. This year is going to be so much fun. I'm really excited. You already know.
I'm excited just to get fans back in the stands too. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited to go to a game.
Mm-hmm. Us players can't wait for that to happen. Like, we're getting a little taste of it in spring training, but we want it to open up even more where we're actually feel the energy. Right now, it's kind of like a minor league game where you can hear people talking and stuff. And every time someone says something, you can hear it. That's not the greatest atmosphere, but when it's like a loud roar, that's baseball, man. You get good energy going on out there.
Yeah, the last Braves game I went to left a sour taste in both our mouths. The last
Which one was
game, Game 5 of the NLDS against the Cardinals.
Yeah. The 10-run first inning. But I didn't go to that one, but I was watching it, of course.
Yeah.
But we both went to
game.
It was game 1. Yeah.
It was a game 1. Yes.
And we blew a lead late in the game. So I think Luke Jackson gave up a run, and then Mark Melanson blew a save. It was not. I mean, we love both of them, but
it's baseball, man. It's a very tough sport.
So, did I write this question down? I didn't, but I thought about this earlier. I didn't write it down. But the organization, the bullpen, underwent we don't have Shane Green on the team anymore. I mean, he's still out there. We could still get him, but we lost Darren O'Day and Mark Melanson. Do you think, what are your expectations for the bullpen this year? I know you're a big part of it, but we added Carl Edwards, Victor Arano, and Nate Jones. Do you think that they're suitable replacements, or what are your thoughts on the Braves bullpen, the state of them right now?
Yeah, I think the state of the bullpen, I think, is going to be fine. And I say that because we went and Alex went out and did a great job and filled holes that needed to be filled. Last year with Soroka going down, we kind of struggled to get deep in games out of the starting role. Only having 26-man roster this year, we really need to focus on getting at least to the 5th inning with guys on a consistent time. And so him going out and getting 2 veteran guys that, know how to pitch, maybe they give up 2-3 runs, 4 runs, but they know how to get those innings, is going to be a huge help for the bullpen, and it's going to make the bullpen even better. What people don't realize is a lot of time the bullpen last year, just through, guys learning to get experience and stuff like that, you're going to have those hard knocks. Just through guys going through those hard knocks, put the bullpen in tough positions, tough situations to go out there and get outs. We were able to do it for the most part, but when you can get your starting rotation to be really good, your bullpen becomes even better. And Alex saw that, and he went out and did what he needed to do. And our job in the bullpen is to go out there and shorten the game. But if the starter can go ahead and shorten the game himself, it makes our job a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah.
So Luke's got the final question for both of us, and then we'll get into some viewer questions, and then maybe just talk baseball for a little bit. So
yeah,
Luke,
Sounds
take
good.
it away.
What is your favorite moment in your career?
Favorite moment? Probably just going ahead and playing in the NLCS. I was just hoping to get back to baseball. When I thought that, no disrespect to some of these teams, but I thought that would be like, again, no disrespect, but like with the Pirates, where they're just like, oh, we need a veteran guy to come in there and teach our young guys. You know what I mean? I was just like, whatever. If I can get back to baseball, great. But to be able to come back into baseball and be on a winning team and be on a competitive team that's got young talent that's going to be, pushing for a World Series for these next 5 to 7 years, even hopefully more. That's what I'm excited about, man. Like I think the future is going to be the greatest moment. I really think that we're going to get a World Series, and I'm looking forward to having that moment be my number one moment in baseball.
Mm-hmm. I think we got a good chance. I think you got a good chance to get a ring.
I
this
think we
year,
got a great chance.
We're pulling for you. We hope. I mean, obviously, as a fan, we were both born in 2001. We're 19 years old. We're still college kids. But even my oldest brother, who's 25 years, almost 26 next month, he was a couple months old when the Braves last won a World Series. And, a team with this much talent and all these players through the years, Chipper, Maddox, Glavine Smoltz, Hank Aaron, we've only won one World Series in Atlanta Braves franchise history. So hopefully 2021, this might be the year. And best of luck this year. I mean, I know you'll be fantastic again. I mean, we're definitely excited to have you back this year. And we want you to have the best of luck. But we'll get into some viewer questions here, and we'll transition into that in just a moment.